I'm live. Hello. Welcome. Glad you could join this evening. This is program number 5. And um, to be honest, this is already the highlight of my day. I enjoy doing this. And this evening, I'm going to be talking about product. And so you're experiencing product that I am putting out and hoping that it delivers satisfaction to you. So, a couple of the fundamentals of YouTube. Sorry, they make me laugh. They just kind of seem like, it's like I don't even know fully what the impact is of you doing this. I'm so new at this. But anyway, please take a moment to hit subscribe. And if you like the content today, please hit like. And also, what I would personally value tremendously is if you would, if you want to ask questions while I'm doing this, if you're watching live, that would be welcome. And also, if you're watching the rerun, if you're watching live, whatever, any comments, whether it's as to the content of this show or ideas for things you'd like to hear about, by all means, please do that. I appreciate any feedback you can share. So tonight's program is on product, and I'm going to talk a little bit about business product, but then I'm going to talk about your own personal product. And so we what's my personal product? Well, I produce CO2. Okay, what else do I do? We're going to talk about that. And by the way, it doesn't, our own personal CO2 production does not pay worth a hill of beans. All right. Um, so if you've been watching all week, or whether this is your first time watching, we've worked our way through a process that's called purpose, plan, people, process, product. So we are talking about product today. And when I say product, what am I referring to? Well, most people immediately think of product being just the merchandise or the service that a company provides. And part of this is going to be an attempt to expand your horizons beyond that. So every business must produce two things. They must produce, well, under the heading of number 1, they must produce service and or merchandise. And then the second thing they must produce is a profit. Except, and I want to give you a little bit of a hopefully it's a little bit different way to look at profit. Except for a little bit of time during the greedy 80s, profit is often thought of as a dirty word. And so I want to give you a lens to look through that maybe if that is an issue, that it might be helpful. But one of the most fundamental things to remember is that no enterprise can exist without profit, including nonprofits, because nonprofits rely on the profits of others to exist. So profit is a very important aspect of our economy and of our existence here, at least in the United States. Well, it has been. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, if you ask if you ask an accountant, what's the profit? Well, an accountant immediately can, they'll say, well, do you mean the financial accounting profit? Do you mean the before tax profit? Do you mean the taxable after tax profit? It can get complicated. Now, a very simple definition of profit is just revenue minus cost, and that's pretty rudimentary. But what I want to do is give you a little definition that hopefully shows that it's a mutually beneficial situation. And that definition is that profit is the difference between the cost at which I can provide merchandise and the cost profit is the difference between what the provider of the merchandise can provide it versus what a person can do it for themselves. And so when you look at it this way, you can see that it's a mutually beneficial situation, that you're basically splitting the difference between the cost of what it would be for the person to do it themselves versus you as a business doing it for them. And another reason that this potentially is helpful is that one can start understanding why there's not very much profit in making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but there's pretty good profit in iPhones or open heart surgery, or just immediately picture those things that would take a lot more. Well, you couldn't do them by yourself. So profit is that difference between I can do it myself or I can have somebody else do it. And the profit is, in some way divided between the buyer and the seller. So that being said, what's the real, so given that there's the profit aspect, there's the merchandise aspect, but what's the real global thing that every business has to deliver? What's that product? That product is satisfaction. And just think about any business you provide. I mean, any business you patronize. If you don't get satisfaction, you don't go. The minute that you feel that they're not committed to your satisfaction, you're done. And so, and amazingly, all the businesses I've worked with over the years, there's an unsettling percentage that don't get that fundamental. So if you put your mindset on, oh, wow, whether it's me personally or my business, our job is to provide satisfaction, or that's our product, not just our job, that's our product. That's what we're selling. You start to kind of broaden your scope about it. So let's look at your personal product, and your primary duties are given. So, if you're I don't know why I keep bringing up accountants, but let's say you're an accountant and your job is to, do the accounting. Well, that part is kind of a given. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about your personal product, your extras, your add-ins, because these can be game changers in your own work life. And so I want to give you a couple of examples too. So, example number one is a pleasing personality a part of your product offering. And, it's funny, you could go through different professions and there are plenty of professions that would immediately go, nope, doesn't matter, isn't a part of it. Go to salespeople and immediately, yep, it matters. Well, what if you're, here I go with accountants again, but what if you're an accountant who's, I'm not going to pick on accountants, but I'll tell you the dirty secret is that I actually have an accounting degree. So maybe that's why I feel like picking on accountants. But anyway, it's one thing if you're an accountant buried in the the franchise tax board or something. Is a pleasing personality going to be a big game changer? Probably not. Is if you want to start your own firm, is it? Yeah, that's a part of your product offering. And it's as important to develop that as it is any other aspect of your technical abilities. So, that's a particular example, but let's look at two, like back up again and go, okay, so pleasing personality, what does that translate into? Well, is part of your product that you provide good morale, or you cause stress? And this conversation always causes me to think back to years ago. You don't have to be a basketball fan to get this, but because it's maybe it's a little bit of an obscure reference, but the Lakers were bringing back a player named Derek Fisher, and he was late in his career, and a reporter was skeptical about what his product was going to be. What's his production? How many points can you put on the board? How many assists? And Phil Jackson actually replied, well, I'm bringing Fisher back. I think he called him Fish, actually. I'm bringing Fish back, not just for what he does on the floor, but also for what he does in the locker room. And so Fisher's product was points, assists. I don't think he had many steals. I don't think he had many blocks. So points, assists, wisdom, and morale. Those extras extended his career. What's the flip side? Well, I'm not going to name names, but more than once, some NBA players gone into the stands after a fan, or, there's just the problem player. It's like, what do they produce? They produce stress. Do they have extra long careers, or do they have cut short careers? So I'm giving simple illustrations with the hope that you will do the work to start looking at your own product mix? What are all the other things that you bring to the table? Now, sometimes those are not easily quantified at the beginning. Oh, well, this warrants another $6 an hour because of this. No, that's not what I'm saying. But they're the things that lead to quicker promotions, to career longevity. They heighten, even when you're looking for a job, they heighten the possibility of quicker hire, that kind of thing. So if you are looking like, so obviously if you're looking for promotion, there always are certain um, fun, basic requirements that you've got to hit that are just the kind of, we call the technical parts of the job. But those intangible parts of your personal product offering can be big game changers. And so I had somebody ask me the other day, what if you want to make a career change? Well, I'm going to talk more about that from some different angles next week. But one of the things that pertains to product is just look at your own product mix. Look at, if you know where you want to go, what change you want to make, whether it's an employer change or it's you want to entirely change careers. Look at the product mix that's needed and start adapting your product mix and start building those elements into your product mix so that you can more easily make the change. So that is my take on product. I want to again urge you to please ask questions, make comments. And next week I will be continuing every night live at 9, and and then it'll stay online and you can view it at any time. So until next time, cheers.